It's an honor to be here. I need some help with my gait. I was having an experience of it being open a lot. Being open, just being open.
Just a bit closer, sweetheart. That's
okay.
it.
And I came here, and it's like there's this, like that dragon is blowing a huge wind through me. And it's going like this. And when I walk through, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Like I'm just overwhelmed and like I'm shooting out of my body and I can't stay. There's nothing to hold on to. At lunch, I walked up to the top of the hill and I did a lot of roaring and growling. And it helped.
Sure, it always does.
But now I'm fluttering again. And I just would like your help with that.
Can you let the fluttering just happen? Without fighting it?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, it's okay. Let it flutter. So keep your eyes closed just for a moment and tune into that fluttering. What is it saying?
It doesn't say anything. When I tune into it, I calm, and then there's nothing.
Okay. There are many, many details in this existence, and they all have their beautiful role to play. Each of them a lesson. You say the dragon is blowing a wind through you. Yes, it does that. There are two things seeming to be occurring here. To come into the presence of yourself is to be completely discombobulated, thrown all over the place, shattered, heightened. It takes a while for the body-mind to catch up. On another level, the aspect within this creation that we're calling the feminine has a capacity to feel and intuit all the layers of possibility, all the details. And she can get, I'm saying she, when it exists within both the masculine and the feminine. But she can get thoroughly overwhelmed by all of that information, thrown all over the place, confused, overly identified with each new piece of information. Right?
Yes.
This dragon is carrying an immense story. Yes. We could say the dragon is both masculine and feminine. It is the pull of opposites, a symbol of duality. It is not wrong. But when we are committed to only being the pull of opposites, i.e. a person, we get confused, stuck, limited, we suffer. You're being asked at this time to know the I that contains all of the possibilities of creation. The I that is vast, that knocked you over when you walked in. The you that cannot be described even. Let yourself be knocked over. Everything that comes up this week, it's worth keeping note of it. That's why I do encourage a journal.
I am.
Okay. You are the collective story. The more you come to the heart, the more the details of this existence become apparent. And they can be very confusing initially. It feels overwhelming. Where does one start? Yes.
On the pillow.
On the pillow. Very good. You said, the first thing you said when you came to sit on the pillow was, I need help with my gait. Do you? What is wrong with your gait?
Nothing right now.
Whatever arises in this body-mind, give it due respect. It's you. It's you in the form of a wobbly gait. Why would you deny such beauty? Sometimes consciousness will express itself in a very strong way physically to get your attention. Very often it empties a contraction in the collective mind out through the physical form. And in a satsang, it is very common for beings to experience strong physical symptoms. And they can feel very collapsed by them and temporarily feel that something must be wrong, or that somehow they've come for a retreat weekend and suddenly find themselves ill. It's not fair. They've booked into a retreat and they've signed up to be ill. That's the point.
Or fluttering. Or fluttering.
And the fluttering.
I signed up to be fluttering.
You did. You signed up to dive in. To not mind the details. Nonetheless, from this perspective now, you're in prime position to see if there is any contraction in this thinking mind that's causing a fluttering. Do you see? Many things will arise in the body-mind that are contractions within yourself, misunderstandings of yourself, that cause a tightening of vibration, a heightened feeling of uncomfortableness in the being. Right? And that only comes because you're not residing as you are. Is the fluttering, do you mean of the heart, of the physical heart?
No.
Where does it take place, if anywhere?
It's an energetic feeling through my whole body. Like...
The wave reality that you are.
Okay.
Nothing to be afraid of, and yet utterly terrifying.
Utterly. It makes me want to pass out.
And when you give yourself to it, when you give yourself to Ma, do you want to pass out?
No. Not at all.
Okay. Consciousness is sound, light, vibration. Electromagnetic energy. We'll call it the great fluttering. The current of being. You are tuning into yourself through this form. Do you see this form as like a tuning fork?
Yes, I like, you're calling it the current of being. That feels right.
Okay. What grace that you are becoming aware of the current of being, of you.
It feels like grace, but it's also very frightening.
Tell me a little bit more about the fear.
And when you ask me that, there's a voice that says, you won't measure up. I won't measure up.
Yes, this is very key in the human mind. And I'm very glad that you've articulated it. That deep-rooted sense of unworthiness. Love is so vast, I can't possibly measure up to it. It's too wondrous for me. All beings are carrying this feeling of unworthiness. Right back when you came into form and the forgetting of yourself began within this particular form, what happens in this great collective mind and in all the individual little minds, in that forgetfulness, the thinking mind translates it as I have been abandoned by parent. And how that can occur is because there is some remembrance of parent. It's a complex one in the psyche, because seemingly it's 99.9% forgotten great parent. And it feels completely absorbed in its form. I am this person. And this is my surroundings. But that little 1% of remembrance of parent is the spark that is reminding you of your inherent nature, of the love that you are. And it is that spark which will then push you out to seek love, to remember yourself, right? But that 1% spark also triggers the feeling that there is a great parent who's forgotten me. I have been abandoned. And if I've been abandoned, there must be a reason for that. It must be because I am not worthy of parents' love. Another aspect here of this sense of insignificance is, again, this child mind has a grain of truth, but it misinterprets it. The grain of truth is that you are but a babe in your own arms. You cannot possibly comprehend the magnitude of you. And the thinking mind translates that as I am insignificant in the face of that magnificence. Not insignificant, no. That's a spin on the reality. A thinking mind's tiny spin, which then gives birth to all of the misunderstandings that will be in this one's life. That I am not that love, says the thinking mind.
So that's when I abandon myself.
Precisely. The great fight begins because you're craving that love, very furious that that love has seemingly abandoned you, and also in terror that you're not up to it. This is the base of every human psyche.
Well, at least I'm not alone.
You're not. You're not. One mind containing all the billions of little psyche minds. The same story, just expressing in unique ways. And so your sense, the original sense of abandonment, will play out in unique ways in your lifetime. Your own story will have confirmed that sense of abandonment, and love will have let you down consistently. Right?
Yes.
Right? And now you're discovering the love that is never letting anyone or anything down.
I like it. I like that love a lot.
It's not separate from a you who can like it. You are it. Can you put your hand here? Okay, you're going to tune in to your own tuning fork. Use the space under your palm as a point of focus. And tune into the current of your being. Is anything missing when you look from here? No. Is this deeper you unworthy?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so now from here, let us view the little one that is still feeling unworthy. The compassionate parent is now viewing that little child mind. All right. What space? That child mind is simply being matured back into parent. That is how you come home. And each moment you feel that contraction in the being, a sense of unworthiness, that sense of being scared. It's not to negate it, not at all. The more you view from the compassionate eyes of the heart, the more that little contracted one has nothing to hold on to anymore. It can't confirm its fear because your view has changed. Your perspective has changed. You're looking from the eye that's never unworthy. The eye that is simply vibration of being. Looking from the deeper eyes of the heart, do you mind a wobbly gait?
No, it's a
No.
good breeze.
It can come, it can go, and also it may reveal something that needs to be revealed. Consciousness is always talking, eternally communing with itself. Listen. Listen from here. see in the abstract. It's always speaking in symbol, and you can decode it. We could say that a wobbly gate is saying, you are learning to no longer wobble, to be rooted as you are, to be the one that is never wobbling. You see?
To be a tuning fork. To be a tuning fork rather than a wobbling gate. To be the vibration and to allow the vibration and just be it.
Yes. And then it can take whatever form it needs to take.
What a relief.
My heart feels bruised and aching. In Satsang, it increases to the point of it has a message for me. In your presence in Washington, I had a vision during meditation that there's a well of dark well of grief connected with losing my son. But in your presence, I dove into that well and saw at the very bottom white light beginning to come up through the darkness of the deep well. But there's still more. The pain increases to the breaking point until I go to my heart. It begins to dissolve. It's as though a river begins to dissolve and wash away the pain. But I can't stay there forever. I come back and the pain has a message for me that I don't understand completely. There's more levels.
Mm. Yes. I understand that it feels that it's somewhere that you need to stay, a place that you must stay. And thus when you're not seemingly there, it feels that somehow something wrong is occurring. A sense of failure comes very often. You are not a place. You are not somewhere to come to, and yet we do use the language to say to come to the heart. Yes. That experience of loss has been working at a very profound level to uproot that one who can feel loss, that feels separate. your own testimony is that in the midst of that, in the pit, if you like, of that loss, release came, light came. It returned you here. And for most beings, perhaps all beings, that absolute height of what we're calling suffering has to be experienced to collapse you into you. Yes, there are levels. Does it matter how long it takes?
It's been 15 years. And something is stuck because the tears have not come yet.
Can you put your hand here? There's no concern about anything being stuck as such. Every step so far has led you here, is leading you home. Even what we're calling a moment of being stuck. All right? Sometimes something has to be very held and tight and contracted, like water in a dam held. And then eventually, when the timing is right, we can collapse that dam and let the water flow. All right? So nothing is wrong. Can you close your eyes for a moment and just feel that sensation of touch of the hand against the chest? Feel the warmth of the palm. Let yourself really melt into that warmth. Can you feel space under your palm? Can you feel a quality of space under your palm? Okay. Feel the expansiveness of space. The space of you. Let space look through your physical eyes now. How is your view?
Calm and at peace.
The space of your being, is it a physical form?
No.
Can you see it?
I can feel it. Yes.
Is it male or female?
No.
Okay. Is there a limit on it?
No.
The space of you has no limit. The you that has no shape, no form, no sex. The you that is one with itself, you describe as peace. And this you are. A feeling of loss can only arise when this has been forgotten, the peace that you are. Nonetheless, there is some wisdom here. We could say that something is missing, only remembrance. You can only be in a state of loss when you're in a state of need, when something is missing. And that is the position of every thinking mind as it begins its journey. It's in a position of seeking that which feels lost. Do you see the wisdom even in that seeking? To bring you back to the you that is. And it means that you will go on a journey that will contain many experiences. And you will have to go on a journey that for a time compounds your understanding of loss, misunderstanding of yourself. And in this one story, a very heightened experience of loss of a loved one, for a moment collapsed everything in you. And it is through it, through that collapse, that in your own words you are coming home. But yes, there are layers within this one, layers inside of your layers. What matters is this recognition has come of the you that has no borders, the you that has no loss. Tears will come when they're ready to come. Do you see how the mind is always thinking that something is wrong, something is missing? It's always judging itself. But too, this thinking mind will have nuggets of wisdom in there. It's just misinterpreting. If you feel a sense of a block or something stuck, use that. What is consciousness saying to you through a feeling of being stuck? That somehow your perspective is not deepened yet. You are misunderstanding yourself. What we're calling stuck is simply a limited view. When you look from the eyes of the heart, do you feel stuck?
No, I feel a major shift to not stuck.
I understand. Within that seeing is the recognition that this child mind is growing and deepening and maturing into itself, constantly growing. Somehow the mind thinks there's an end goal. You are eternally evolving.
My little self mind has tried so hard to hold on and control. To not allow myself to grieve in order to help my other child grieve. I had to always be there for her. I feel ready now to reside in the heart and just know that all is well.
Yes. The one that is trying to hold on and control was also profoundly put to the test with the departure of your son. Love knows what it's doing. It unpeels you step by step. This one may have played the role of necessarily holding the other child in her grief. So many roles being played at the same time. Nothing is wrong. But what is seen is that there are layers of misunderstanding ready to be unpeeled. What a shift of perspective. It's everything. It's not about being a peaceful person. It is to know the I that contains all of the persons. To know the I that is both mother and son. This mother, the form of the mother, was not allowed to hold on to the form of the son in this lifetime. A very strong teaching.
The unpeeling is both painful but held in a loving embrace. It is beautiful. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.